You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Right, don't knock me around today. I'm ill. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm ill. But I'll be able to do this, Dak. Just
are you okay or not?
Don't bamboozle me and don't just speak logically and I'll be able to follow you.
Are you okay or not?
Yeah, I'm okay, yeah.
I can walk into a bank like this if I've got... No, what have you got? Well, seriously.
I've got a cold.
You've got a cold?
Yeah.
Do you know whether it's a cold? Is it COVID?
I don't know. I've never had COVID because I've never tested for it.
So you've probably got COVID?
Well, maybe.
And you know what this is? Remember when... And I'm not going to compare this to what Lady Di did, but remember when Lady Di hugged the kids in Africa that had AIDS and it changed the view on COVID? Well, this might change, on AIDS.
I was going to say.
Sorry, Lady Di cut it.
Can you get AIDS by hugging people?
No, well, that's what she was showing. She was showing everyone. She was cuddling and you know, kissing the little African kids, and then it changed the view because everyone thought you could get AIDS from holding hands or blah, blah, blah.
Did anyone ever think you could get AIDS by hugging people?
I think,
sexual thing, isn't it?
Don't you remember the ads that they used to do with the Grim Reaper and the 10-pin bowling?
Yes.
And they said, oh, you must have been, really, you must have thought, well, you've got it for sure, because they were saying if you've had one partner times it by 10 and if you've had 10 times it by 1,000, and then if you're sort of half good at math, you start adding them up and... you would have thought you were in trouble. But the point I'm trying to make here is I'm doing what, tongue in cheek, I'm doing what Lady Di did for AIDS, for COVID right now with you, because you're fully sick.
Fully sick.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm sitting here without a mask on. We're on an aeroplane, and if we're on an aeroplane, I'd be asking you to pull your mask up over your nose. Unless you had a drink in front of you.
I wouldn't tell you I'm feeling crook. You wouldn't know.
Anyway.
Just tell me this. Can you get AIDS besides injection needles and that? Can you get AIDS any other way than having sex?
Blood to blood. So anything, and whenever blood comes in contact with blood, then that's how you get lemonades.
Lemonade.
Anyway, so you're okay. Well,
I'm good,
quickly. So
good.
I've had a little sick one at
Well, no one's interested in
home. Well, his
health.
little cold had COVID, so he did have COVID. He's cover up.
Now,
Get a mask.
I will. I've got an handkerchief here.
No, little Cole had COVID.
A little Cole.
So what is he? 5 months.
Yeah.
Took him to hospital. Couldn't breathe. Struggling breathing. So we thought it was something to do with breathing.
So you went up to Brisbane?
Oh, he's just gone straight off the COVID.
Well, no, let's talk a bit more about COVID.
Well, I just think...
go ahead.
No, well, I was just saying, and he had to spend he spent nights in hospital because...
Yes, because he's a youngster.
But as soon as they found out it was COVID, they kicked him straight out.
That's it. Yeah, well, let's talk a bit more
because
it's
like this disease that no one wants to come in contact with, and I'm sitting, a foot and a half from... the very thing that everyone's afraid of.
You know, because it comes from, as Donald Trump said, China. And wait till we get on to Donald Trump. Oh, look, look at this. This is a proper Trump hat.
Oh, you got it. You got it flown in.
I got this sent. There's a 6-month waiting list on these. This is the proper Trump, not the knockoffs. This is the proper Trump hat.
The proper one. Are you going to wear that around?
I will, because I'm the only one of the few people that. Very proud to say I'm a Trump supporter, and if you don't think he is the greatest politician, president ever, you are deluding yourself. I know you see all these things on X. And
I wouldn't say he's had a great couple of months.
Well, you've been paying attention?
Yeah, I don't think he's had a great couple of months.
Don't you? What do you think he's had a good couple of months by doing?
Well, time will tell.
No.
I just think deploying armies and riots because of things that he's put in place and all sorts of stuff that have occurred, and even oil's gone. The whole economy and things go up and down off the basis of his sometimes erratic decisions.
This is why I love talking about
and choices,
because people have no idea what they're talking about. You have the riffraff, the unwashed, who belt him for You said he deploys armies and
Anyway,
hang on. You said he deploys armies and riots.
I didn't say he deployed a riot.
You said
I
yes,
said
you did.
I said when riots
He
going on.
deployed armies.
But the riots are going on because of changes that he's made to things.
Riots are going on because
people are upset. That's right.
What are they upset about?
They're well, the very people, the immigrants that live in Australia, live in America, that are legal. They're legal people that are living in America that are upset that other people of their kind can't come into the country and get the same start that they got. I guess that's...
That is... Duck, you're a marvellous man. I love you. I do. Yeah. Because that is absolute nonsense.
I'm on the podcast.
That is the problem with having a conversation with people. What you said then is absolute nonsense. Because, in fairness to you, and in fairness to all the other people at Twitter and write stuff about, you just don't follow it.
No,
That's
I don't.
not the reason at all.
Well, why are they writing then?
Thank you. Now, there we are. Because he campaigned, had the greatest landslide victory, campaigned on getting illegal felons and criminals out of the country that came across the border.
Yeah, I know all of that.
Well, he got ICE. You know what ICE means?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I know. ICE is a group of people that round them up and send them back because they came in here illegally. And they came in here illegally and cause grief. They rape people. They traffic children.
But Sam, you're telling me something I already know.
Well, no, you said
you said you were going to educate me. Why were citizens?
They're not
legal citizens. No. All the people riding weren't illegal.
Because the immigrants, the illegal aliens that come in, they're friends of the people who are here legally, and
isn't that what I just said before?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did actually.
You said.
I said the people that are rioting are people that have come in, legal immigrants that have come into the country, into America.
And want their illegal friends.
And they want their friends to be able to come in the same way.
No, they don't come in the same way because they're not legal.
Well, some do.
They don't.
Some do.
12 million of them flooded across the border.
I know.
They never checked them for COVID, for their criminal background, for their child trafficking, drugs.
Don't use COVID.
Fentanyl.
Here across from.
That was when it started. They didn't check them while you had to wear a mask everywhere you went. They just... millions of them flooded across the border. So he's getting rid of them. He campaigned on that. And ICE... Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they're going around rounding up the worst criminals to send them out of the country.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
So I have no problem with that. I'm saying that, so decisions that he has made has upset enough people to do that.
It hasn't upset
Would you agree? Would you agree with this, Sam?
Upset.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. You've got to listen to me sometimes. You tell me to listen. You've got to listen to what I'm saying, okay? And what I'm saying is, since he has been in office... would you say that it has all gone smoothly and there has been no turmoil whatsoever?
Because
in the world, we've got wars going on that he said he was going to stop. We've got new blues going on now. We've got riots all around the country. We're not. No, I'm being the devil's advocate, Sam.
Well, then he has been absolutely fantastic. He's tried to stop Gaza. He's tried to stop the Gaza and Palestinians.
How's he gone with that?
Well, no one else did. Obama and Biden and no one else did anything. He's trying to bring peace to that country. He said that under his reign of office, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
No, so he bombed Iran the other day, yes, and then they bombed America back.
Duck. He campaigned on the fact that he will get rid of the nuclear weapons that Iran are building because Iran's publicly state through the Ayatollah and all their news services that they want death to Israel and death to America. And if he allows them to build a nuclear weapon, you're just inviting the fox into the chook house.
Do you know the only country ever to use...
What's that?
Who's the only country ever to use...
Yes, America.
Yes. They're the only ones ever to use one of those weapons.
Well, what's your point?
Well, I'm just giving you... I'm just being the devil's advocate here.
No, but
my point is, there's
what's
only
your
one country ever to use one of those bombs.
Yeah, so he is saying that the second country that might use them would be Iran, who have stated publicly, and it's their manifesto, that they want death to America and death to the Jews. So I don't have any skin in the game about the Jews and the Palestinians.
No, I'm happy.
But he has campaigned on this, and he went in with the bunker busters, and he hopefully has got rid of. And if you think that they're going to stop going on with nuclear fission and building a bomb, they're the most untrustworthy country in the world. So he said now he wants a ceasefire. Now that he's got rid of the nuclear threat, he thinks he wants everyone now to live in harmony. And you say he didn't.
And how's it going? How many bombs have gone off since he let his bombs off?
Well, So he said in the first week, he said, now we want to have a ceasefire. And the first day, Israel dropped a bomb on Iran and vice versa. And he's over there in the Netherlands at the minute. And he said, this is ridiculous. He said, I've told Israel and I've told Iran, we're trying to have a ceasefire. And the first day they dropped bombs on another. And he said, these are his exact words. He said, neither of them know what the fuck they're doing. That was his exact words.
I heard him.
And so he's gone over Putin, Russia, and Russia and fucking who are they fighting?
Ukraine.
Oh, you've got me round up. Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
He's trying to stop that. He's not trying to start wars. He was trying to stop Iran through a promise he made. He's the only president that makes good on his promises of what he elected on.
I'm not, Sam.
And he is the best. He is fantastic.
I'm not disagreeing with everything that you're saying.
And you said he's got him jumpy around the world, the leaders.
I'm just saying, I'm being the devil's advocate. I'm saying things are not exactly like if you're an Aussie and or for that matter, anyone from outside America, let alone a Mexican, you wouldn't be exactly visiting America right now, I wouldn't have thought.
Well, you wouldn't, but that's not Trump's fault. That's because the opposition, the Democrats, got absolutely slaughtered at the election and they are panicking. They have become hysterical. Now, I'll just mention you the names of people.
No, you don't have to. No, we don't have to turn this into a big political thing.
No, because but we're not turning it into a big political thing. But the people in Biden and Obama's government that were indicted or lied in front of Congress are the reason why these protests are going on. They are Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Holder, Lynch, Lerner, Page, Rice, Strzok, or McCabe and Yates. They are people...
That's not bad for a bloke with COVID.
They are people that were in those governments who lied and manipulated the justice system to nobble Trump.
Would it be fair to say that Donald's told a few porcupines himself?
Oh, he's a politician.
Yeah, okay.
No, someone said...
Look, I'm not... Sam, I don't want to get into politics. You're better read than I am, clearly, by the way you read off 15 names. And you follow it like you follow it. All that I'll tell you what I don't do, which you do.
Yeah.
And that is I don't read and follow everything that I hear, especially on the news, which is all that you're doing. Let's be honest. You're not getting it from the horse's mouth.
Well, no, I haven't got a direct line to Trump.
No, correct. So you're just reading it or hearing it from people's views.
My source.
From your wherever you get your sources from.
Yes, my biased source.
Yes, but and I would argue that they're not all right either.
No. So did you realise that the two stations, MSNBC and CNN,
yes,
they propped up
Fox?
Those two stations propped up a deranged and mentally fucked president who didn't know where he was going and who he was. They propped him up for 4 years, and now that they've found out that he didn't even run the government, he had an auto pen. An auto pen is a machine that signs his autograph because they just said, sign this, and he put it under the auto pen. He wasn't running the country, and now they're...
Auto sign. Yeah.
What?
Auto sign, yeah.
It's called an auto pen.
Okay, it's also auto sign or.
Well, it's a pen that comes out of a machine that signs, so it's
right.
called an auto
but
pen.
you can also do it online where you've already put a signature in.
Duck, please, this is a pen. It comes out with an arm.
I just love...
And a computer.
I just love stirring you up.
A computer goes into it and it actually signs it.
I shouldn't do that today.
So they've just conceded that he is retarded. And this is the people who give you the news, and now they're saying, oh, we didn't understand, and they're apologising.
Well, we're all rugged up today, as you can see, and we've got off to a fiery start, so I'm a bit hot.
And you said he went over to the Netherlands. He's there now. He will belt those people around the ear hole. Because they're just weak people who just turn up in their suits, sit and have coffee, talk for 8 hours, then get in their limos, drive back to their hotel, and then fly back to their countries. They do nothing. He tells them what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Okay, let's bring it down a notch now. Take that off. It changes you when you put that on. Put your other one on. Put your other one on. That's better. Now this, there he is.
It's great to see you, Doug.
The politician's gone and Sam's back.
I feel so much more relaxed.
Prime Minister Sam, that's what we should call you.
Yeah.
Now, what else? Now, I do want to bring up something.
I want to bring up a whole lot of things.
He's a very good mate of yours. I assume he's
Warrick
a good mate
Capper?
of mine. No, not the Whiz.
No, I'm getting on to him in a minute. Don't worry about that.
Well, do you want to get on? We'll get it. We'll get it out of the road. What do you want to?
Well, your throwaway line about Vegemite, and a little bit goes a long way. That inspired two subjective dribbling articles in successive papers. One by a bloke. You'll love this. One by a bloke called Justin Smith, who said this. This is it filled in a whole. And Justin Smith said this.
Smithy.
Justin Smith said this.
Who does Justin Smith
he
write
writes
for?
Writes for the
who?
The Herald Sun.
I've never heard of him.
Well, that's exactly. This is my point. He said this. He said this is part of his article. He said this was the small sub-headline. The uber blokey elements in the footy world might finally be getting it. Could I tell Deputy Dude Smithy, whatever his name is, could I tell him that...
What does that even mean?
Give
me some context around that.
He's saying that people who go and speak at sports nights or functions... might be getting the message that you don't want to be politically correct or entertain people, and I'm saying exactly the opposite. If you go to a sports function and a night where there's 500 people, men and women, doesn't matter, and you speak about the International Wheat Agreement or the Trade Weighted Index, you use hyperbole, you exaggerate stories. Some of them are politically incorrect, but they're very humorous, and that man has no idea what people want to hear when they get entertained.
Yeah, but Smithy's trying to be relevant. Because
that's exactly
what because he's irrelevant, and
that's exactly
how many stories has Smithy ever written?
Well, so I'm glad you're playing right into my playbook here. So at the end of it, for no reason, he gave me a gratuitous slap. He said this about me. I had nothing to do with the article, but he said this. He said, this was in the last paragraph of the whole article. It said, and you don't have to go too far back when Sam Newman was well paid and well loved for his footy show comedy, but the act ran dry, and Sam now has a podcast where he interviews people like Nazis. Now, that is...
You are never going to live that.
That is...
well, that's poor journalism, that's what it is.
No, but here's... So my act ran dry. I did it for 25 years, the same thing for 25... Longest running television show in the history of television of its type, live to air. 25 years I did it for. In that
did you look up how many articles Smithy's written?
Yes, well done. You're going beautifully. He has gone through more trains than the spirit of progress, whatever it's called. He has been in country radio, in city radio, in country television. He's been filled in for people. He's filled in at various things when people go on holidays. He is a journeyman, and here's a man who has no idea.
So he's like a relief teacher.
He is a journeyman.
He's Phil.
Yeah.
He's a Phil. He's a. You know what? He's a sub.
He is
He's a footy sub.
He is Justin Smith. If you couldn't believe it. Dippity dumb fuck. What's his name? What do I say? What's that word?
I don't know, but
Tweedledum fuck.
So he had a crack at. He's had a crack
For
at
no
everyone.
reason at the end. It's just gratuitous slap at me.
And what was the other one? And what was the other article? Get on to the other one.
Okay. Well, here's
we're on it.
here's this sanctimonious gadfly, Alice Costa, sanctimonious gadfly, who accused me and wrote in an article that I tried to chatter up at a function at the Crown Casino.
Yeah, you've gone over.
I know. And then she said, and she dreamt about me, about my behaviour. And I've just said this before. You've got to see Alice Costa to see how ridiculous that statement is.
No, but
she
we're talking about Cap. We're talking about the
like
whiz.
a smorgasbord off a forklift.
Did you get? I want to ask you. Did you get any feedback from your great mate who you're going to be best man at his next wedding?
So Alice Costa quoted your thing, but couldn't quite bring herself to say that the quotes were on You Cannot Be Serious, the podcast you're on. So they just grift off chat shows like this, or what we do, and fill up a whole article, a whole page on Warrick Capper, who they think is disgraceful, but give him 2 pages in the Sun by Tweedledumfuck and Alice Costa. And I'm telling you this, Wayne. The 5-year suspension of Warrick Capper is a disgrace. That is ridiculous. If you even you would think that that's ridiculous.
I don't know the circumstances.
I know. Well, if it's the fact that he said,
if that's all that he said,
okay. Yeah. Well, all right.
And it wasn't directed at the person, and it was in conversation, albeit wrong, but and overheard. Then. But I dare say there's a body of work that has gone on.
Oh, do you? All right.
Yeah,
well,
I'll
take that on advisement.
Well, I wouldn't think that.
And a friend of ours, Ralph Horowitz, I read.
Ralphie? I like Ralphie. I like his opinions.
Well, good on you. Well, he said on X, because it comes up on your feed. I don't check them out. They just suddenly appear.
Oh, you don't check them out. You read everything.
No, I don't.
You read everything.
I tell you, I don't know how to get them.
I like Ralphie.
So Ralph said, not to me, but he just said as a general comment on X, he said, where is the AFL Players Association giving Warrick some a little bit of help and a little bit of resources to try and back him up, because that's what they do. He's been a great player for not that long, but he's been a great player for the Swans and in lesser light Brisbane, a bit like when you went to Adelaide. But he put the Swans into on the marketing map over there, and to give him a 5-year suspension for that, it shouldn't have said it.
Once again, I'll tell you what, I'll agree with Ralphie on that point, and I agree with a lot of what he says in a lot of instances. And Ralphie gets political as well, and a lot of I agree with everything he says in that space as well. But I will say that the Players Association I've said this for many times, and I've actually met with Paul Marsh. Paul Marsh is the outgoing CEO, as we know, but I've met with Paul Marsh before. And do we know who the new CEO is? I don't think we do just yet. But they need to 100%. They need to support their members more.
That's right.
There was a time where the AFL Players Association wasn't 100% union. It is a union now that is 100%. Every player is a part of that association. Past players, I've called it a toothless tiger many a time. Does it need to do more? In saying that, does it need to support Warrick, who would be fair to say has bought this on himself?
Yeah, of course,
it hasn't been something that does he need support for being a nitwit? Probably not. So on that instance, I would say no. So I disagree with Ralphie, but there are plenty of players out there that do need the support, and they might muck up or do something, and they need support, or they might say the wrong, whatever it may be. But when you've got a body of work once, you're probably...
You keep saying that. If there's more than what he said about the girl and she could get a job in a brothel and it wasn't to her but it was an aside,
yeah, but if
she
you
heard it, that's
but
bad.
Sam, if you're
I'm not defending him.
If you're standing there you have people around you and I dare say, because like I've said, he's not exactly he's not exactly shy in the way he goes about talking.
And he's never going to assemble any rockets in his backyard with a view to putting them on the moon. He's not. But he's a loose cannon, and he's
quite loud.
He's loud and he's brash.
So if people are standing around and there's young females standing around and he's yelling out that sort of crap, then he should expect to be...
If he was yelling it out and there's young females, we don't quite know the intricate details of it.
We don't.
And I'm not defending him. I'm saying I'm defending that for 5 years.
Anyway, how many
seriously.
did you get in trouble for saying you weren't his best mate?
Oh, no, I was taken to task. Why would you be a friend of his? And then Ricky Nixon's backed him up. These two people have had a punch-up here in this very room. I had them on...
it's a weird little circle.
It is stuck, yeah. Anyhow, you are the reason. The two verbose, subjective articles are written by Smithy and Alice in Wonderland. God almighty.
I'm glad we're keeping people in.
Well, you're keeping them in print.
Well, while we're on controversial topics, and it's a little bit controversial because the great Sammy Kekovic, who's a mate of yours, mate of mine, love Keka, has said that this time next week, Sam, or not this time, Thursday next week, there is a 100-year anniversary, of which so happens to also be the 50-year reunion of the first ever premiership the North Melbourne played.
Yes.
So it took 50 years to win it, and it's 50 years since they've won it.
I see.
So it should be a pretty big celebration, I would have thought. And Keka's not happy that it's I've actually heard a radio interview that he's done, and it's obviously been reported on. I'll tell you what I will agree with Keka.
What?
I'll tell you what I'll agree with. Sometimes
I can't give you an opinion until you tell me what he's not happy with.
Well, he's not happy with the type of function so there's no real celebration of the 50-year reunion.
North Melbourne put that on.
No, so North Melbourne are putting on an event at the game against the Bulldogs Thursday week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's at the ground. It's a stand-up, all in. So the players from the 70s to the 90s, you have the girls that have just won the premiership last year. So it's an all-in North Melbourne, full inclusive. I wouldn't call it an event. Celebration, of which is stand-up. It is a buffet style, which buffets went out when COVID was in. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously buffets are back.
Because they couldn't have the sneeze guards over the food.
So we hope that we don't have people like you walking around at the buffet, or it'll go through the crowd like...
I didn't play for them.
No, you get my point.
I do.
So this is a buffet style thing. Sam's argument was, well, if you played in the 70s, and you would be fair to say you're at a certain age, so to stand around going to get your own food at a buffet...
Yes.
is probably not ideal.
Yes.
Some of the people aren't exactly as agile as they once were when they were winning premierships. So, and also he didn't think that the magnitude of which they achieved, being the first ever at North Melbourne 50 years ago, 50-year reunion, it should be celebrated at I guess a bigger event. I tend
more prestigious gathering.
Correct, and I do agree with him on this. Now, I did read somewhere that North Melbourne are saying they've spent $150,000 on this event or celebration. I'm not sure where they got that figure from. Not that I'm going to send my bookkeeper over, but I just don't know. Given that it's at Marvel Stadium before a game, it's a buffet, and they're serving. I think they're serving drinks until quarter time of the game, and everyone gets to sit out and watch the game of footy. So I'm not sure. What I would say is they would make $150,000. So rather than spend $150, if they actually did a function at Palladium, they would get 1,000 people to that function, of which would be sponsors, as Sam says, and people that want to celebrate the great feat of what these guys did many, many years ago. And they would sell them for $1,000 a ticket, and they would send 1,500, and they would make 150,000 rather than spend 150. So there's an argument each way.
The beauty of us not knowing what we're going to ask each other or say. I had no idea what you were talking about then, but I'm trying to think of what my response to you is, and I could not agree with you more. And Sam Kekovich, to have the 100th year, but the 50th year, took them 50 years to win it, and another 50 years as a celebration, to have them at a pissy little stand-up function and finger food before a game, which will be shithouse in the cold. If you couldn't put on what they do, like the North Melbourne breakfast, and get 1,000 people to the Palladium, you'll have people come out of the woodwork. They'll fill their coffers up and they'll march all the stars out who are still alive and still with us. And he makes a good point about they're all about 75 and 80 now, those people who have played. Perhaps they're not quite that old, but I couldn't agree with you more. And they come out and they say, here's the great Wayne Carey, and out they come and they fawn over you.
Well, they did it. They did
ridiculous.
The North did a great function. I don't know how many years ago it was now. It must have been about 6 years ago, where they did their top 10 players, and so they had all. And there was, I think, six of them from just off the top of my head, 6 or 7 of them might have been from the 70s.
Yeah, that's
of
right.
their best ever players. So it just goes to show you the magnitude and how good that they played in 6 straight grand finals, by the way, of that era, and to win the first ever grand final for North Melbourne. I do agree. That's so. Well, what I don't agree with though, and not that I'll change his mind. But Keka's not exactly the most mobile man. We know that. He's actually a bit like you. He's got trouble with his feet and everything else. Although yours has been operated, but he's not exactly mobile. So to be a stand-up style function's probably not going to suit him, just like it's not going to suit others.
Well, Doug Wade's 84-3.
He did say that they once there was a few things brought to their attention, that they offered a breakfast, and he thought that was a bit of a tokenism.
You could have a gala night.
Yeah,
it'd be
I agree.
Fantastic.
I agree.
Crown.
In saying that,
Who's the president?
Sonia Hood.
Sonia.
Yes.
Well, what about you? You're on first name terms with her. You've knocked on her door a few times.
I think so. I wouldn't think this is one of her decisions that she makes.
Really? The president of the club wouldn't be involved in that decision?
Yeah, but presidents of the club don't sit there and
what do they do?
Make decisions on
figureheads.
What sort of functions they run. They can have a strong opinion, and they sit there with their board and their directors and everyone else and talk about these types of things. But I don't think the whole decision lies on her shoulders.
I didn't say that, but you said if they sit round the board at a board meeting and Sonia's up the head of the table because she's the president, and they say, now look, will we stand up and have finger food at Marvel Stadium, or will we put on a lavish gala night at the Crown, and people vote in it, and Sonia will say, well, as the president of this club, that is the only way to go, and I'm using my jurisdiction, my authority. I'm saying that's what we're going to do.
Well, it's next Thursday. I'll be going. I'll be going to the... by the way, the whole thing goes for an hour, Sam. The whole thing
hour?
Well,
it's
I think it starts an hour before the game.
Oh, and you're going to have drinks till quarter time. This is like a kid show.
Time.
This is like a Christmas show for kids down at Luna Park.
No, I think the thing starts an hour before the game. They've got other stuff going on, but I'll be just going to the function. I'll be showing my face out of respect for what that club's done for me. I'll be saying thank you, and
will there be any embarrassing things that will be there? Will you rub shoulders with those that you've had differences?
Well, of which I have many times.
Have you?
Stood on stage with
various people who.
Absolutely, which we've said, although some journos say that it's the first time, Caro, first time ever that I've been back to the club.
Someone was going to sue Caro.
But I will be going to the game. I'm yet to work out exactly what I'm doing because I do have stuff on, and I was actually meant to be going to Sydney, so I've put off travel plans to be able to.
You're going away again.
To be able to go to this event.
What does AFL legend calls for journalists to be fined over fake racism story?
Yeah.
Is that Caro?
Yeah, that's Mitch Robinson too.
She's got a fair breadth of work that is questionable, Caro.
So,
would you like me to read out all the questionable
No,
things?
we've been through. We don't need to get it. It's old. No, so you concur with Sam's sentiments?
Absolutely. I don't watch the news and I don't read the papers. I don't watch the free-to-air news. Only do international politics. CNN, MSNBC and Fox, that's how I know about Trump.
You will be going...
What a star. I'll put my hat on again in a minute. So when you said that, I'm thinking, surely they're not going to have a big function at... surely they're going to have a big function at the Crown.
Easier to... this is what I would say to Keka, because... And I love Keka, but I would say sometimes... Whether you agree or disagree with certain things, sometimes you've got to bite the bullet, and you've got to you mightn't agree with everything that is going on around you, but sometimes you do what's for the benefit of more than yourself. That's what I will be doing.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
His
opinion was that
there
this
are
is
other
a
people.
pretty...
Because there are other people. We're talking about a club that has gone for 100 years now.
Yes.
And there are many, 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 many people that are involved in that footy club. The other thing that I do agree with Keka...
you said... Hang
on.
No,
but the other thing I'll agree with Keka, what makes up footy clubs are the boot... And he brought this up, are the boot studders and are the doorman, are the trainers. It's great trainers we had at North Melbourne during the 90s, and I know some of those trainers were at North in the 70s and were at North in the 90s, so they got 2 bites of the cherry in terms of success at that footy club. So those people are the very people that when I go back to North and I go to a function, they're the people I want to see. I want to see the people that I knew, that helped me be the player that I was. I know a few of those people have passed away, but I remember Skull and Orb and Judy Francis and all of these people, and Steve Campbell.
Skull and Orb and Judy Francis.
And Steve Campbell, who's a millionaire builder who used to do the drinks. And they sacked him. He was a volunteer, by the way, but they somehow got rid of him. But they're the people that I want to see at the footy club. The physios, Roger. Gordon passed away last year. Harry Unglick, the doctor. I mean, Julie Tatnall, the dietitian. We're just talking about those. Greg Miller, the CEO. Jeff Walsh, Dave Butterfint, the fitness guy. When I go to that event on Thursday week, they're the people that I want to see.
You paid tribute to Ron Joseph, who's not
with
it.
Ron Joseph is the other one.
Any longer.
So a lot of the
and
people
Alan Aylett.
Yes, a lot of the
paid
people.
Tribute to Barry Cheatley.
Ron Casey.
But all those people passed on. You could have a memoriam for those. Put those
100%.
But what is wrong? This is the small thinking of a club that's on its knees.
Well, they're not. They're not on its knees. North
Melbourne's not on its knees.
No, why are they? Did you know they won on the weekend? They beat Carlton.
I did. Well,
yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean
they've had 3 wins and a draw in the last.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're not. I'm
they're
talking
coming
fiscally.
Back.
Fiscally.
They're back.
They're back, my bullshit. They're back. Now, so you said you've made a very good point, because Paul Vaughton, who used to be on my counterpart. Fatty Vaughton.
Yes.
For 25 years he was on a footy show. I hope Justin Smith can say that his act ran out. While Justin's had 55 jobs in the time that Paul Vaughton had one. He said this about NRL, and it's exactly what I'm not putting you in this, I say about our game. He said he doesn't go to the football anymore because he doesn't want to be an old bloke saying it was better in the 80s. He said the rules have got everyone confused. They're targeting hard tackles. They're targeting people who play the ball. No one knows what the penalties are for. The umpires and the refs in those cases are doing their best, but they're confused. And he said, and this is the point you made, he said, but I got to play with the greats, and they're now my friends. And that's what he said. Whenever he goes to an NRL function, that's what he loves, because he played and belted the shit out of the greats of the game, and now they're his friends.
Yeah, and is exactly right. It's the people that you shared those successes with, and whether you were lucky enough to win a premiership or not, when you're at a club for a long period of your life the start of your adulthood, then they're the friendships, they're the people, they're the father figures, and these people people you spent every single day with. So they're the people I'd like to celebrate, which we're obviously not going to get to do next Thursday. So there'll be people in the crowd that, would have no idea who I am, or have no idea who Sam Kekovich is, or Malcolm Blight, or Keith Gregg, or everyone else. But
fancy Malcolm Blight flying down from Queensland to stand in a group of people at Marvel Stadium and have a couple of sandwiches.
What I'm saying is they're the people I'd like to celebrate reunions and also centenaries with.
Now, Doug,
I'll tell you what we're doing. Just an opinion, doesn't mean it's right, it's just mine.
That's a good point. An opinion can't be right or wrong.
It is right to me.
It's only an opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Doug, we're stopping this 5 minutes early for two reasons. One, we forgot to charge up one of the cameras, and it's important that we recharge it so that people can see you on our YouTube channel called what, Sue, please? Originals what?
You Cannot Be Serious podcast.
You Cannot Be Serious. They love seeing you, and they keep an eye on that. They keep an eye on that radar disc that's on the side.
Beauty spot.
Yeah, that beauty spot.
Yeah.
And also, we've got Ivan. You remember Ivan? Ivan, who used to come.
Why do you call him Ivan again?
Because Don Scott, you reckon he looked like Ivan Milat. So Ivan's coming in.
All right, good time to close off.
Ivan's coming in, and you know why he's coming in?
Why?
Because I saw him at the coffee shop the other day, and I looked at his hair, and I said, "Hello, what are you doing?"
Has he been to Turkey?
Mosh.
Oh, he went to Mosh. He's got the Mosh.
He's got Mosh, and he said, "Should I have the strength of 1, 2, 3, or 4?" I didn't know there was 4 different.
Yeah, you get the strong one.
Well, he's only been using the medium one. I said, "Look no further, Ivan. Come in here, and the duck will explain what Mosh is to you, and we can examine his head. You can do it. You can examine his follicles."
I'll look at 3K's head.
But the reason we're stopping now is because we're going to charge the camera up.
All right.
I've got plenty more to tell.
So have I.
Good. Well, there's something new.